Hello, Future Bestsellers. Super, super glad to see you all today. Um, so, Robert's going to be out today. He's got some stuff to take care of. Michelle, unfortunately, is sick today. Good news, Lisa Earl McLeod is going to be joining us. I literally invited her like 1 minute ago because I was out of town yesterday, flying all afternoon and sat on the runway for a long time. So I was like in late last night, not really organized this morning. But Lisa McLeod is here. Hello. Super glad to see you today.
Yes, only for you do I go on camera with no makeup.
Well, me too. I spent some time on the runway last night at in Raleigh, Durham.
Oh, I thought you meant the runway. I'm like, oh, she walked a runway. That sounds great.
Not that
What
good,
were
right?
you wearing?
That sounds really fun. Sweatpants no, I'm kidding. Anyway, so yeah, so I spent so yesterday was like a long kind of travel day. It was fine, but it was very long. I got back, I was tired, so I didn't realize until this morning that we were not going to have Robert. I didn't realize until like 5 minutes ago that we were not going to have Robert or Michelle today. But
so let the record reflect. I am the understudy in the wings that stayed there for years and wasn't expecting it. And they went, "You're up." And I went,
"That's right. You're playing Evita tonight, girlfriend." I love that. Love that. Oh my gosh. Free range female is here. Good morning,
Good morning, ladies. Love. Good morning.
Good morning, lady. Hello. We are super glad to see you today. I feel kind of bad because if you look back in the comments, this was up for this week, but we had a lot of our regulars come in and say like, what is happening? So I apologize if you guys did not get the message that we were going to be off last week. I don't want to share too much. Like, I don't mind with you guys, but the internet's weird. Anyway, I was taking my youngest to school, and it was very exciting. So
I'm going to do a brag on Lisa, the other Lisa. You got two Lisas today. What Lisa was doing last week was the culmination.
Okay, no, you can. Okay, you can say it, but
I know how to say it.
Okay, don't say. You know why? Don't say
it. Of 22 years of creativity and fabulous work. 22 years of love and nurturing and wonderfulness. And there'll be many more milestones, many more connections. But last week, she watched all her dreams for her daughter come true.
That is a very nice way to say it. Yes, that is absolutely true. Thank you very much. You're making me all weepy, and yeah, awesome.
So well done, gorgeous one.
Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. Free range females here. Hello. So glad to see you. I miss you guys. Oh, thank you, Lainey. I so appreciate that. I really do. I know you guys know what that's like. Aloha, Mary. Super, super glad to see you today.
I think it also applies to the writing life.
It does.
It really does. Not just because all experiences apply to the writing life, but one of the things that I've seen you do so well over the years with your children, with your friendships, and in your writing is that understanding the heroine's journey and understanding the emotions and having a vocabulary to bring the emotions and helping your children understand them. And I don't think, I used to always say sales trainers make the best parents, but I actually think it's sales trainers and writers because you've kind of broken down the world into this emotional level and how things work. And the better writer you are, it means you understand humans better. And so I've watched you do that.
That is so okay, you know human beings better than any other person I've ever, I'm not including myself in that. You know human beings better than any person I have ever encountered in my life. And I think what you're saying about, in particular about writers and parenting, think about like especially like when we think about like romance writers, we are
Yes.
constantly thinking about the core wound that the character
Yes.
has and how all the things they have to overcome it and all of the ways that this ends up playing
Right.
out in our lives. And I think for me, it was always like, don't F it up because
That's it.
you
Because
think
we
deeply about how it could go wrong, right?
Right, because we know if I mess this up when you're 5, then when you're 35, you're going to be the character I write about who is too afraid to open her heart to somebody, and she spends her life, alone because she can't let anyone in. And I have connected the dots to that what how that person is acting. And so it, I mean, I don't know some of these. I don't know if Pat Conroy was a good father or not, but some of these people who are not actively parenting can go off and write about this stuff and never really have to do it.
Right. That is true. You don't have to do it. But I do think you're right that it's a special training. Yeah. Or understanding
of humans. And the other thing is you have the vocabulary to do it. I mean, that's what people don't even realize. I mean, my husband was complaining about his family, as one is wont to do, his parents. And I was like, and I was thinking about my own parents, and I was like, they didn't have Oprah. We didn't even know what a dysfunctional family was. Like, they didn't have names for these things. And it would be like trying to do a chemistry experiment and going, the goopy stuff over there. I mean, there's names for shit.
Right.
And you as a writer have names for things.
Right. I think it really does help.
And you taught your kids the language of emotion.
Which is really important when it's really important if you're a writer.
It's
really important for being a human. It's especially important for being a parent.
So we should ask a question.
We should ask a question. Go right ahead.
Okay. The question is, what core emotion, as a writer, what core emotion fascinates you in your writing and in the world?
All right. I'm going to put this down. We'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
What core emotion fascinates you?
The thing that fascinates me, that I'm fascinated with at the moment, I don't know if this is probably an emotion, but self-agency. Why some people have it and some don't.
And some people don't.
And I think about my first book, I think about 2 books that had a profound impact on me, Charlotte's Web and Gone with the Wind. And both of those women had self-agency. Fern in Charlotte's Web, she was going to save that pig. Charlotte was going to save that pig. I mean, the pig's just like, oh, but I mean, both of them. And I remember Charlotte saved the pig by writing. Let's just take that in.
Right. That's true. Charlotte was yes.
And in the typical way, all the people came and there was like, that's some pig. That's some pig. And one woman said, I think that's some spider.
Right. Once again, writers go unappreciated. That is hilarious.
But that's what fascinates me. And when you think about the core wound, I think about so many people that'll be like, well, we can't do that, or I can't bring that up to my boss, or I don't know how I'd make that happen. And I just look at them like, what?
Well, you are an incredible, but you are a person that has never seen a mountain that's too big. Like you're just are going to work the problem and that's it. Right. And it's interesting to me because like creativity, which I'm sure everybody in this chat can relate to, right? When you become an adult and people find out you're an author or a writer, they go, oh, I wish I could be creative. And you don't realize it when you're a kid because it just comes to you until other people start saying, oh, I wish I had this thing that you do. So,
and it's like, oh,
effortlessly.
So someone I know was married to someone that grew up rich, a woman that grew up rich. And he said about her, to them, their family, money was like air. Like you never think, how am I going to get more air? Where's the air come from? How do we get
Right.
more air? And I think like
Did
creativity.
I use up all my air for this month
Do I need to
already?
save some air for later? Should I go
Right.
make some air? This family's running out of air. Should I make some? And and I think what was so interesting about that is that's like us in creativity, where people are like, I wish I was as creative as you. And you're just like, what?
Right, right, because it's just there. It's just there. I love that. A lady says, "Is this an emotion? I'm fascinated with yearning." Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It affects so many. It's such an interesting emotion because it sort of rides the line between like jealousy and you know, and just outright need. And I mean, like there are all these other things that sort of come into yearning. It's like the center of a Venn diagram, except the Venn diagram has like 5 other emotions on the outside of it. I love the idea of exploring yearning. And Mary, oh, go ahead. What was that?
Grief. I'm exploring that in the book I'm working on. The book I'm procrastinating on, actually.
Well, that's why we're all here. Yeah, good grief. Yeah, I mean, grief. The thing about grief is interesting. I had a therapist once tell me that like grief is actually a pretty straightforward emotion. You know, there are the 5 steps. You work through them. Some people do get stuck on one step or another, but for the most part, people move through them because it's that we have, you know, we have those losses as humans. We have regularly have losses, and the older you get, I think the more losses you have. Mary says, Wilbur saved by writing. Yes, Charlotte. Yes. Hello.
Yes, her creativity, her writing, she like
her special skills.
Right. So like first we have the assistant, Fern, who runs in that Wilbur's going to be saved, uses her emotions with her family, makes her case, which is entirely emotional. They're like, he's at the farm, he's a resource. No. She makes this emotional case. Then she gets herself a pig. Then Charlotte decides. And if you think about the end, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
I love that.
I thought this is what I want on my tombstone. She was a good friend and a good writer.
Oh, yeah. I will make sure that both of those are true about you. And I will make sure that Bob puts that on your tombstone.
But you think about, you're giving credit for a lot of ordering here. That's probably not going to go.
Right, that's true. I will make sure it gets put on your tombstone.
Yeah, check with one of your kids. But the thing about that is, as writers, like, I know some people here write YA, and Charlotte's Web was, you know, Y. Not even A. I mean, I read when I was like 7. A digital tombstone, at the very least. Yes, she was a great writer. I think she was a great writer. But anyhow, you think about what Charlotte did as a main character. She was the main character.
Yeah, and
she was the self-agency, like as a young girl reading that. Elizabeth is
Elizabeth.
I got it.
love.
But as a young girl reading about Charlotte saying, I am a spider. And I am going to get these humans on this industrial machine to do what I want them to do. And I am going to use my skills and ingenuity. I think I'm a spider. And I'm going to mastermind this whole thing. She gets the rat.
I have not read this book in so long. I remember the basics. I do not remember the rat.
She gets Templeton the rat.
Oh, right. I forgot.
The rat. To go out and get her words. She gets a rat to do her bidding for her, to do her little project here. She weaves the web like it comes out of her body, okay? She just doesn't even have to think twice. It just comes out of her body. She stays up all night working on her creation, and then the morning goes, ta-da! The brother, Avery, was going to bat down the spider and the farmers come together to save their queen, Charlotte. And Avery falls over, bumps his head. Like, you think about this. This is a spider who took on big farming.
That's true. That is very true. That is very true. I love that. And now I'm going to have to reread this book. It's been such a long time, but it's such a, like, it's totally worth the reread. I've forgotten how much I love that book. All right. Speaking of books we love, we got to move on to a sprint.
Okay.
Let's get this rolling. Otherwise, this will just be like one of our phone conversations. All right, which is good, always good. All right, you guys, we are going to get rolling. Do I have this? Okay, we are going to get rolling with our very first 5-minute warm-up sprint. You're going to get your document open, get yourself ready, figure out what you're working on today, and we will be starting that in 3, 2, 1, sprint. All right, we are back. Let's get rid of that. So this is kind of funny, you guys. I I have on my Shopify store, I have a ringtone that every time I make a sale, I get a text. It's just a zap I set up. But every time I make a sale on my Shopify store, I get like a little text with a sound that's like cha-ching, which I love. I love to hear that sound. Cha-ching, cha-ching. But I did an update last night on my phone, and apparently it changed it, which I'm not sure how it would do that because it was a zap. But in any case, I had, because I was on a plane, I had yesterday, I had turned my volume and everything off, and I just turned it back up today, like turned my notifications back up, and apparently it's changed. The little ringtone that I get when I make a sale is like a news flash. So it was like do 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 do, and I'm like, what is happening? Like there's a news flash happening right now. So anyway, so I had an interesting experience. I don't know. I think I told you guys I have been ill for the last like 11 months. And I've gone through like like a ton of doctors tests and exams and imaging and all kinds of stuff. But the medication that they have me on has left me kind of weak and unable to do really fatigued all the time. And so I really can do like one thing a day. And I had a book launch on Saturday for a book that I literally been just sitting on for 8 months, where I was like, "Oh, I will do like a good launch for this thing." No, this is me 2 days beforehand. The book didn't get up on time. It did not I launched it on a Saturday because it's the book is what seven-figure authors do differently, and Saturday was 8/8/26, which that's like a magical number for money. And so I thought that would be kind of a fun pub date for it. But it's interesting because we talk a lot about, oh, here's how to do this, here's how to do this, and kind of in these idealized circumstances. But sometimes your life is just not conducive to getting stuff done. And I've had this like book I was very excited about and put it out into the world with very little preparation or fanfare. I will say this is the first time I've done a book launch since I opened my Shopify store. So most of the books are like, that was the link that I put into my email newsletter. And that's the link that like other authors who have sent out for me are putting in. And so I have made great sales in my Shopify store, but it's also the first time where you're not pushing all that traffic to like Amazon, Barnes and Noble. And it feels weird to go look and see on a book launch that your numbers are like not spectacular. And I know where all the sales are coming from because they're in my Shopify store, which is definitely the best place for them to be because I get way more money. I get all the money actually. And I get I get to know who my customers are, and I get to reach out to them when I have other things I think they might be interested in and hear back from them about what they like and don't like. But there's like a psychological thing. And so I'm wondering, so I have like the combination of a kind of lackluster book launch. And when I say lackluster, I literally sent out one email and have done nothing else. And that's really I'm trying to sort of just forgive myself. Like that's all I can do right now. So I'll just do my best. But yeah, the fact that it's the Shopify thing, this is the first time that I've experienced this as like on a launch. And I have to say, I'm very happy. So anybody else have this experience? I know Lainey's got has been selling her books direct to her readers in her Shopify store for a while now. I'm curious if anybody else has that like mixed emotional reaction.
I'm having a very unmixed emotional reaction.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, so my reaction is looking at the model, and you are connecting directly with your people. Yep. There is definitely the feeling in the world. I hear a lot of people say it. Oh, guess I'm ordering my vitamins again. I'll give Jeff Bezos some more money.
Right.
And oh, by the way, how easy would it have been with all that money to be a great human and have us all feel good about buying from you?
Right.
But other choices were made. But the feeling I'm having from a business perspective is genius, because one of the things we're seeing now is mass market. You can't do it as an individual. Like, there's too many people with big giant scale that control your connection to your customers. And if someone else controls your connection to your customers, you are at the very end of that money chain. And if you do it right, there might be big money, there might not, but you are not in control of your channel.
And your volume has to be a lot higher.
It has to be so higher. And they're going to choose whether they're going to make choices about what they're promoting and what they're not. And all the choices are out of your hands. So it's like a reverse business model, where it used to be you had to crack through big publishing and be like, I don't know, Lana Turner on some counter stool going, please discover me. I don't know if that was her, but you know what I mean? And
that was her.
They would pluck you up and say, yes, you get to be in the party. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I just got breakfast. I'll eat that on the next breakfast. That's fabulous. It's 11:30. It's brunch, whatever. But what's happening is you have now reversed that. And
it wasn't just me. I will say I'm a follower on this, not a leader. However,
you have reversed it for you.
I have reversed it for me. And I will tell you, like, most of those sales that I've made are digital. They literally get auto delivered to the person via book funnel. So it's just, I'm literally sitting in the bathtub, $5, $5, $5.
And as a buyer, like, when I see somebody's book launch, I try and go find some independent bookstore to buy, because I'm just like, please let me. But it takes less steps. This doesn't take steps. You're directly connected to your customer, so you can get feedback from them.
Right.
Versus, can you please put your review on the big platform where they get to decide who's it? Can we all, I'm the customer, I'm here, I'm the writer, I'm here. Let's all try and, find each other through this big thing where someone else is going to get all our money.
Yeah.
And I just think, so I have a contractor that works with me, and he says, I want a small number of loyal customers who work at the high end and sole source it.
Yeah.
That's the new model for business.
And that's what we want. All right. So Mary asked, why is 8826 special for many? So it's like a numerology thing, essentially. 26, you add 2 and 6 together, that's 8. So the 888 is supposed to be like super powerful money day. And I just, to me, one of the really interesting things that I discovered when I was working with all of these 7-figure authors was that they are all a little bit woo. I shouldn't say that. They're not all a little bit woo-woo. There was like 1 or 2 exceptions, but I would say 90% of them are a little woo-woo. And I thought, like, I will say, I will confess, I grew up with a mother who had like rocks in her pocket, and like, so this is not foreign to me at all. That said, like, I really thought I'm going to embrace this, because in the past, I think I would have been like, oh, that's a dorky day. That, like, don't do a book launch on a Saturday just for some, imaginary thing or whatever. I thought, I'm going to embrace this. Like, this is kind of a fun thing. It is, we don't know what we don't know, but I will say it felt like it fit with the book, so I did it.
I will offer a woo-woo perspective.
Okay.
I went to this speaker about 20 years ago, and he was a very fundamentalist Christian, grew up that way. And now he called himself an evolutionary Christian. He had expanded his thinking. He said, I didn't stop believing any stuff I believed. I just widened the aperture.
Okay.
And he said, I find it really naive to think that God only spoke to us once. He or she is speaking to us all the time in all sorts of languages.
I think that's interesting.
I just thought that was really interesting. He said, everything I believe was built on my original beliefs. I didn't stop believing them. And I loved that in terms of woo-woo-ness. that widening the aperture, expanding things, and we don't know what we don't know. And is it going to hurt you to launch it on 8/8/20? Of course it's not.
Of course not.
Why not?
Could it help? Maybe.
Actually, maybe. And does it even matter?
Well.
Yeah. No. Does it even matter? And it's just like, is it going to, hurt you to honor your parents? No. So just do it. I mean, take whatever,
like, right. Exactly. Whatever thing is good. All right. Let's do some comments. Mama Ward is here. Hello. We are super glad to see you. Free range female. Oh, thank you. Oh, you must have been you were probably the thing that just came up while we were just chatting. Thank you very much. Oh, I found the email. I feel like I've been missing or forgetting stuff. I think that might be part of my "they're not dead yet" flavor of grief. I understand that. I'm so sorry. And also, you are not obligated to open all of my emails. Another day of no notice. Am I missing? Oh no. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you for translating that. My little thing is not working. Okay. Authors, Lainey Davis says, but Lisa, hopefully you've set follow-up emails thanking them for their order. That's another connection point. I do have follow-up emails thanking people for their purchases. So so yes, it's fun too. There's like a whole anyway. So
I think we need to go back to Penumbra, mine, and Imward, another day of no notifications.
Yes.
I think we need to hold space for your sadness. You're allowed to be sad over that. That's one thing I've noticed ambitious women don't do. So we go, no time to be sad, no time for grief, time to muscle it down.
No, I think she meant she was late to the stream because YouTube didn't give her a notification.
Oh, I thought she meant no notifications. She didn't sell anything. She has her own thing. She didn't get the little ding in the bathtub that you got. That's what I
see. I think she's selling okay. And, but that's also a good, that's a good thing to do. But I think that was funny when you're talking about grief. I'm like, well, it's okay if she's late to the live stream sometimes.
Oh yeah. But I read it as like those days when you've set up this whole system and you think you're going to get, we have a different version. Lisa, have you written non-fiction books? Yes, that's all I've written. I'm now circling the drain on a fiction book.
Right. Right.
I wrote Selling with Noble Purpose. I wrote Forget Perfect. I wrote The Triangle of Truth, which was going to solve world peace. And John Lewis was the sponsor of getting it to Congress. And that's why we have no polarization. Look it up.
True. There was a whole thing.
There was a whole thing that absolutely failed.
Yeah, I totally get that. Mary says, wow, maybe I need to be a little more woo-woo, hoping the book teaches me that too. It is definitely in there. And it's like one of those things, like I'm not saying these are all things that you should do. I'm saying these are things that I noticed about these people. I mean, that was one little thing, but I found it fascinating that they had so much in common in their strategy, but also in their attitudes. It was
your attitude is leaking in to everything you do in ways you don't even realize. So if you're believing, it's like that flywheel where you've got the facts of the actual concrete things you're doing, you've got the timing of the market, and you've got your belief system. Guess what? One of those is 100% in your control. Because even that act of what you're going to do, you got sick. You can't do all the blocking and tackling you planned.
Yeah, I had read a while back this fascinating, I don't know if you guys know this. I minored in psychology, which I didn't really minor, I guess. I just kept taking psychology classes.
Unofficial minor.
Right. I have a 33 hours of psych work, which you only need 36 to get, on top of like regular undergrad.
And when we add in parenting, trauma, you've got you've done your 10,000 hours. Girl.
I've got 36 hours plus 10,000 hours. But I always say that those classes were more helpful to my writing, in particular fiction writing. Well, that's not true. Both types of writing, far more helpful than I think even any of the writing courses that I ever took. I had a oh my gosh, I had a point and I just completely escaped my brain. Let's move to Free Range Female, who said, I have no idea whose mailing list I'm on because I never open emails.
Free Range Female, you are a goddess. I love
that. Yeah.
Don't
I
open
think
those emails.
I
It's just the rest of the world trying to get in your brain space.
I think this is awesome. Barry says Lisa M needs to do voices, maybe cheer us on to be kick-ass like her. She is kick-ass. She's completely kick-ass. All right, you guys, let us know what you're going to be working on in the chat. We are going to start our very first 20-minute sprint. Lisa McLeod, what are you going to be working on today?
I'm working on research for a novel and a TV treatment that I'm writing for a show set in the 1950s in a hospital. And it's based on my grandmother's life.
Fascinating. All right, that's cool.
Mhm.
Your grandmother was kind of an interesting person. I'm really I'm fascinated to see where you go with that.
She is the original kick-ass Elizabeth, at least the original one I knew.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, I am going to be working today on I'm finishing, so this is how you know. I'm finishing and uploading the workbook for what seven-figure authors do differently. So that is what I will be doing today. And look at that.
The world needs it. I need it right now. Get it done, girl. I gotta have it.
My date, the date it has to be up is the 31st. So I'm actually going to make it as long as I can continue working on it. But yeah,
that is a date I need it. I really need that day.
All right. Well, I'm very happy to hear it. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. All right. We're going to do our first 20-minute sprint today. Sorry, we're a little bit behind. Starting in 3, 1. Let's write. All right, we are back. Let me get rid of this banner that's floating around. All right, how did everybody do on that last chat? Let us know. All right, fantastic. So, Lisa, how'd you do? Also, you're muted, just FYI.
Thank you. Rookie mistake. Actually, I did great. Shockingly great.
Great.
And you and I have had this experience before, and I love that I'm having it with you. We've had it separately, and we've talked about it, where it just pours out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it did today, this main character who's based on my grandmother. And I think one reason it poured out of me is I know her, but I don't know her so well. She's long dead, if you
right.
Who she is. But I know her, but I don't know her so well that it's limiting. So I can vent a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I can go back in the time. I've kind of altered her timeline and everything of when this happened. She works at a hospital, and I'm making it set in the late 50s. But I know that time is so culturally specific.
Mm-hmm.
That is just pouring out of me about what a nurse would think and believe, what she's been raised, what her dawning awareness is happening. And it's just like, yeah, like the words have not poured out of me for weeks, if not months. So
Yay. I love that. Mary says, I'm inspired. I got lots of ideas. Free range female got 350 words. Always hard starting new chapters for me. Yes. Right. It's almost like a blank page. I don't know. I always like to leave on the last chapter on a little bit of a hook, which does make it easier to start the next chapter because you're resolving it. But yes. Anne asked a really good question. She said she starts off in one account and finishes in another.
I loved this when I read this. I'm glad you brought this back up.
So, trying to depict a modern take on a ring oath giving ceremony in my dark urban fantasy, trying to convey the gratitude that characters feel and the absolute chaos of emotions felt by the main character because of what it means for her future. The fates have pulled her skein in a direction she was not anticipating. She says, still struggling, but now struggling with more words. Well, that's always
perfect. Well, there you go.
That's always good.
Let's riff a little about what happens when a person gets pulled in a direction they weren't anticipating, and maybe Anne will find something in there,
some little thing. Yeah. So has that happened to you?
It has happened to me, and there have been times when I just felt it. Mm-hmm. And I resisted it. I have also been reading about the heroine's journey and the difference between the heroine's journey and the hero's. The hero goes out, finds himself, and comes back. The heroine goes within. Yeah. Right. And so what I've felt like when I'm being pulled in a different direction is it's the call that was answering something that was already in here. And I was like, no, not that. We're not doing that. That is an emotional thing. That is too much asking. No, that doesn't make sense. It's not practical. In my mind, it doesn't fit with the patriarchal hierarchy that I'm trying to climb. It's this emotional thing. No. And then sometimes I will just look to this guy and go, all right, damn it, I'm doing it. Fine. I
will take the thing. I think just having read some of Anne's story, I think that one of the things that is like she's out sort of answering an expected call of duty. So this idea of this elevation is like, she's surprised that you have all of this stuff that she wasn't anticipating this, right? So I think about things that have happened for me that feel like big shit.
I know a bit of your journey quite intimately, so
right
there.
Well, no,
you brought a prop today.
Oh, good. Oh, I love that.
Okay, continue.
Love that. So one of the things that happened to me was I don't know, 17, so however many years ago, I did a Valentine's Day show for a then local television show, and I had a good with a temporary host and another temporary host, And we had like a fantastic segment. It was great TV. It was kind of dorky. I think I did that. Do you remember that pitch I used to do about how to use car sales tactics to get your guy to
I love
propose?
that. Yeah.
So I did a segment on how to use car sales tactics to get your guy to propose, which was one of my tried and true media.
People always like it.
Right. And I probably did that thing 1,000 times, but I did it on that particular Valentine's Day. And like a day or so later, the producer called me and said, "We loved you. This show is going national in like 3 weeks. We have new hosts coming in."
Yeah.
Remember that? At like 2 new hosts coming in. They had Cindy Edwards, who had been like really big in Canada and like major on Spectrum, and then Dave Nemeth, who I love them both actually. Dave, who was like on Entertainment Tonight or something. And this turned out to be a 15-year run as an on-air, relationships expert, which promoted my book week after.
I know, and it was syndicated, and it went everywhere. Yeah,
right. But this was not something that I ever intended to do,
right.
and it was scary in some ways. Like I felt I had a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like even though I
remember because I remember some of the things that you said. And it's interesting because people listening to this would be like, "Oh, yeah, so you got asked to do a TV show. Like, oh, that's so hard." But what it involved was, okay, I have to be on every week. I got to do a segment every week. I can't just trot around my car sales tactics on every local show.
Right. Like that, like I've been doing.
I got to come up with something every week. I got to be camera ready every week. Yeah. I got to get a babysitter every week. I got to like it. So it wasn't like, "Oh, can you be on Oprah today?" It was like, "Oh, this is going to be a whole bunch of work. And oh, by the way, it's going to take away from your writing and we're not really going to pay you. So can you roll the dice and see if this actually promote?" Like it was a decision. And when you did it, you couldn't go, "Let's try it for 2 Fridays." They were like, "We are reformatting the show. Are you in or not?"
Right.
And I really remember that. And I think from the Instagram version of life, which I don't even know if Instagram was invented back then. The Instagram version of life looks one way, but you have no idea what that person went through to do that. And I know it was like a huge commitment. And then I have to be on every single Friday. I can't do anything else. I can't agree to anything else. I got to have a babysitter. I can't remember. There's one side or the other. I have to have a babysitter. I got to do this.
Right. It was in the morning. I had to have Miss Patty, who was
Miss
like
Patty.
Miss Patty had to take the kids to school.
And it was like, this wasn't, on my bingo card. And it's not like, "Oh, it wasn't on my bingo card to get married this year, but Mr. Perfect showed up." Right. It wasn't like that. It was
it was big. There were things. Yeah.
A lot of things. And I think that's interesting. And maybe that would be an interesting thing to explore because we think, "Oh, I'm sorry. Someone tapped you to be president."
Right.
And you don't want to do it.
Right.
Barack Obama. Maybe you didn't. And maybe your wife didn't want to do it. And then you did it anyway.
Right. So one of the things I think for Anne's story is that this idea of it being, so you brought up something about like, which I had really kind of forgotten in some ways. Like I remember feeling sort of a little out of my depth in the beginning because I'm a person that used to feel like I was going to puke every time I went on television. Like it felt like something I was obligated to do because of my publisher. And I did not like it in the beginning. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys a little interesting story. So my book, Stop Getting Dumped, at some point, some UK writer had gotten a hold of it and wrote this story about it. And I don't remember what it was. I think it was the Daily Mail was the first one. Yeah. But I had some kind of, I like to, that book had some interesting advice. And one of the things is if you are looking to find a partner that you should like make an effort with your appearance when you go out, right? Don't show up with the, sweatpants and the,
and again, if you are looking
right. I don't care. And if you don't, and if you want someone to love you in your sweatpants, that is also cool. That is a valid choice. But it was that like, it was just like a one-liner that I tossed up in the book. And some reporter read it, and they made it like this big thing. And this was at the height of the Sex and the City stuff. Do you remember that? So then I'm all of a sudden like, like, oh, you're living in Minneapolis at the time. So I'm like Minneapolis's answer to Carrie Bradshaw. And it was like, and it like was this crazy thing where I literally did, I think I did like 27 interviews in 3 days. And I remember at the end of it, I felt exhausted. I felt like my personal space had been violated. Like I was not a person who set out wanting to be on television. So that was also like part of it.
And then you had your stupid friend who would have given anything. He would have just said, sure, come fill my life. I don't care. It is like, he's on television. I think that was when I coined the phrase happy jealousy. So
I probably so. All right, let's get going on our next sprint. And we've got that going. We're going to put another 20 minutes up on the clock so we can get some writing done.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. All right, here we go, everybody. Getting started in 3, 2. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Hold on, you guys. I'm like losing my mind for a second. Lisa McLeod has got to bug out right now. We're going to do one more sprint, but before we go, thank you before she goes, I just want to thank you, Lisa, for stepping in as co-host today. It was super fun.
It was so fun.
It's always fun to hang out with you. I hope for you guys, I'll drop Lisa's information in the description of the video after we're done today, but we will continue on with one more spot.
I want to make two comments. One, I love that I have this on my calendar and that I do this, that you've made space to write. And today I realized that this was perfect for me because I need to chatter some about something else to get my extrovert out. And then I can sit and write. So thank you.
Do you remember when we first became friends approximately 20 million years ago? Do you know we've been friends longer than my daughter's been alive? We were friends. Yeah, we were friends when I was pregnant. You remember? You sent me the best gift. You sent me like $100 worth of Chinese food from our favorite place because you're like, you're not going to want to go out. Anyway, I'm so glad that you are here and that we could do this.
And my call just said she needs 15 minutes, so I'm good.
Oh, good.
So, I don't know if you recall the other gift I gave you when you
gave me many gifts.
This is the best gift, I think. This is on my top 5 gifts I've given people. You probably don't even remember because, like, you think having your first baby is crazy. Those of you that have children,
that's crazy.
Right. But then your second baby, you're like, I have to do all this shit and wake up and take care of a toddler. Oh my God. But anyhow, I don't know if you remember, I wrote your column.
Oh, I totally remember that.
And I thought you didn't remember.
No, my God, that's
I took your book. You had a weekly column, and it was very important
for Lava Life, right?
And it was really important, and it was really part of your brand. And I said, I'm going to give you the best maternity gift ever. I will write it. It won't be as good as you, but I will.
It was probably better than I would have given with no sleep.
It's probably that. I think that's what I said. It won't be as good as full capacity you, but I guarantee it'll be better than 2 weeks after having a baby you. And I cut and paste from your book, and I took topics and I wrote, and I said, the only thing is I'm going to get your voice. I'm going to make it sound like you. And you have a month where you have no deadlines.
That was the best gift. The Chinese food was excellent, but that just like the ability to like not have to worry about that. I mean, you know how it is when you first have a baby, you don't even know what day it is. I barely mastered showering.
Right. And I'm supposed to turn out a column about other people's love life, which is the furthest thing from, I don't care if anyone
You've been married for about 100 years by then. It was good though.
Well, and you're like, I don't care if anyone ever gets together and does this, because right now it's not looking great. You know, intellectually, you know you're going to get through it, but you're thinking, why would I be helping people get here?
Right.
That's the last thing. Here's what to wear on a first date.
Yeah.
Bloody sweatpants, literally. That's where you're going to end up, girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my cheeks are all red from laughing so hard. You did a really good job though. I think part of it is we know each other so well, because I ended up writing your column. Oh, did I finish your column for the, I helped you finish your column for the Katrina. Do you remember that?
You did. So just to be clear,
I know. I think it was like it
was too long, and you edited it.
Right, because you had to like go to the Superdome and rescue all those people. Well, you didn't go, but you had to like make sure that happened.
Clear. Mabel Brown rescued herself.
Well, that is true.
Mabel Brown from Katrina. Look it up. She rescued her own self.
And about 20 other people with her.
And 20 family members with her. She rescued herself, and she was wise enough.
Yeah.
To look for resources, and I was one of the resources.
Yeah, that's true.
Rescued herself.
You did definitely like organize a ton of people to make that happen. Sorry, you guys. We're like, this is the one problem about like because we have such a long, a billion years, and we've been friends for so long.
You know what? That would make
shorthand
a really good novel. I'm not going to write it. One of you all needs to write it. about being one of those people in
Oh,
Hurricane Katrina that was poor, that didn't have a place to go, that was used to waiting out hurricanes, got trapped, got shoved into the Superdome. Mabel had to
right.
stay up all night with her arms around her kids because it has turned into Armageddon in the
Right.
Superdome.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was
Yeah,
crazy
gets her
weather.
kids on a bus. They take them to the Astrodome, which is where she eventually came to. Someone needs to write that novel.
I think it would be a good one. Anne says, has anyone worked with sound booth theater for audiobooks? I have not. Mary says, it's interesting. I've heard it's hard to get the quality good enough for big platforms for audiobooks. So audiobooks super important. And especially now, like it's still a category that's growing. You're going to see a lot of AI
Yeah.
stuff in there. And there are a lot of new like companies that are coming out with AI voiceovers. I have some mixed emotions about this because I'm fond of actual human narrators, but also a lot of people cannot afford to produce an audiobook. It's a couple $1,000s if you get a human. And if you want a human narrator, I'll walk you through how to make that happen, and some other options too. I have not experienced sound booth though. Has anybody here?
That's I'm trying to think of who and I didn't do it. The publisher set it up. But I'll be doing it next time. And the people were really, really good. So I'm trying to remember if that was it. So I have a funny story to tell you about audiobooks.
Okay.
Sure. So I recommended a book to a coaching client that a colleague of mine had written, and it was about how to identify your values, but it was a business fable or, a fable.
Yeah.
And it was really short, and I recommended it to this client. And I love this book, and I had met the author, and I just thought this book was fantastic. So she buys the audiobook, and the author reads it, and she goes, "Oh, the author's reading himself." I go, "Oh, he's a great speaker. Oh, you'll really like it." But in the fable, there was a female character. And you know how when women talk about men, we go, "Hey, bro." He reads this female character like, "Oh, Martin, I can't believe my client hated the book." And I was like, she goes, "I hated that book." And I go, "What? How could you hate that book? Like, what in the world?" And she goes, "Oh, no, the female character was terrible." I go, "Well, I mean, she was the secondary character because it was about this guy, but like, whatever." And she goes, "I'm going to play you." She records a clip, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's terrible."
It's terrible.
And it was just the voice. So think carefully if you're doing an audiobook.
Yeah, right. Think about that.
The
We
breathy, "Oh, you're so this," instead of, and like I read it as "you're so this," and it was "you're so this," and I
Yeah.
hated it. When
I know, right? It's a lot different when it's your own voice in
and
your head.
especially now I hate it because that's how the author thinks she was. And I didn't think she was that way. I thought she was a strong woman who was intersecting with him at this particular time. Apparently, he breathed her as, this person who this guy was amazing. And it's the same lines.
Yeah. It is interesting how the delivery can make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Another reason to consider, like especially for fiction, AI narrators, because that emotion, that like what you convey with what a talented actor can convey with the tone and intonation and a million other things, it makes a huge difference.
Like
So
this guy literally ruined his own book with this side character becoming just flaky little thing. He took the words he wrote and ruined them with the narration.
that's the worst. That's the worst. Anne says Sound Booth works on commission. It's the company doing Dungeon Crawl Carl books. I will have to look into them some more. I'm not familiar. But it sounds like, so that almost sounds like a variation on ACX's revenue share, where you can split with a narrator. So I'm really fascinated by that. Oh, this is so funny. Mary says Dungeon Crawl Carl books have completely consumed my hubby, and he's very picky about what he reads. That's true. He's very prolific, though. My gosh, Dave reads a ton.
So I do have to go now.
All right. Well, we got to get into another sprint. Thank you, Lisa McLeod, for being
Well, you know,
here.
I love you, but this community, chef's kiss.
They're the best. They're the best. Love
Bye.
it. All right. Bye. Have a great time. And we are going into a brand new sprint. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, here, I've done this and I've lost my timer, you guys. Let me go back to this. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. You'd think I'd be better at this producing thing after all this time, but the answer is no, I am not. All right, here we go. And to make this big, we are going to do our very last 20-minute sprint, which will put us right up under the wire. So here we go, everybody. This is a good one. Make it count. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's write. All right. Excuse me. We are back, or I am back. Thank you guys all so much for being here today. And it was really nice, I think, to have Lisa McLeod with us. It was really fun. I feel bad if anybody was like lost at any point in the conversation, because we have such a shorthand when we talk to each other. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Let's see what we've got here. Got a few little notes. Mary says, bye, Lisa M. So fun to see and hear you. Anne's got production of the audiobooks for Audible is great. And apparently they have a full radio playlist. Oh, that's cool. Very nice. Great tip. Thanks very much. Love. Very nice. All right, you guys. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I hope you got a ton of writing done. I definitely got a lot accomplished today. And we will see you next week. Thanks, as always, for being here. Some exciting news, but we're going a little long. So, but there's some cool stuff that's sort of percolating in publishing world. So we'll talk about that next week. All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye.